Hi friends, Shaina Bilow here. In today's video, I'm going to demonstrate how I weave in a tail that's in the middle of a row. So you'll see here I have two tails. I started a new ball by just attaching the ball and working on my way. I didn't tie any knots or anything. So I've got this little gap between my two stitches here. I've got that little gap that would show up actually on the right side of the fabric if I were to do nothing about it. So when I weave in these tails, this is what I'm going to do to close up that gap. I have my tail on the right on my tapestry needle, and what we're missing here is this little bridge between these two stitches. So I'm actually going to insert this needle up into the other side where the yarn is coming down, where that left strand is coming down. And just like that, I've connected those stitches with the missing link. Then what I'm going to do is bring my tapestry needle up and down, zig and zagging inside of these stitches across one row. What I'm working here is a duplicate stitch. So a duplicate stitch is worked over two stitches, two loops, and we're tracing around the row above and below it, just like that, so you don't see it on the front. You're grazing underneath the stitches on the back of the work. After I've gone about an inch, inch and a half, depending on how soft and smushy and stretchy my yarn is, certainly if you have something very slick, you'd want to weave in for longer if you're worried that your yarn won't catch to itself. Here my cotton is a little fuzzy, so I think it's going to do a pretty good job holding on to its placement. So my yarn is coming out right here. I'm going to trace along this little loop and come up into this stitch. And I trace along this loop, come down and down. So there's a bit of an angle. I'm tracing around this loop, coming up and up for my duplicate stitch, tracing around, going down and down. So we're hiding this yarn, we're weaving it in through a row of knitting. And here I've gone about an inch. If you like, if your yarn is very slippery, you can come back for a half of a stitch or so to lock that yarn in place so that when your project gets pulled and moved and worn and loved, those stitches don't undo. So I'm going to, this tail is a little short, I'm going to thread my needle through the stitches that I'd like to weave it in, then thread the yarn through the needle and pull that through. And then once you have your stitches woven in the way that you feel is secure, you're going to cut those tails close to the fabric. And that's that. And there's the front side. Little steam, and it'll be fabulous. Happy knitting!